Objection, Your Honour. Fair usage.
Modern Art is Rubbish. Modern Art is Rubbish podcast.
Coming up on today's podcast, a bit of this.
So was there actually a pause film or anything?
No, but I'd like to think there was.
Yeah.
And a bit of this. You'd probably put a Gandhi sketch on the site and wouldn't have to pay anyone.
That?
Yeah.
Yeah. See if we get any copyright notices.
Hello and welcome to episode number 18 of Modern Art is Rubbish. Are you alright, Tom?
Hi Marcus, yeah, I'm good, thanks.
You know what, Tom? I'm a little bit happy today.
Yeah, what's made you so happy?
Well,
you have got a kind of glow in your eye.
You know I like to use do drawings of other people's work. In 1948, 3 people died. Well, more than 3 people died. An artist, Kurt Schwitters, died, and an artist, Arshile Gorky, died.
And you're happy because artists died?
No, I didn't put that.
Was
right.
it on? Sorry, did you say it was on this day or something?
Yeah. Well, it was. No, not exactly on this day, but in this year, because that would have been 70 years ago. 70 years ago. Are you asking why 70 years ago?
Was I?
Yeah.
What was I? Yeah. Anyway, so these artists who died in 1948, 70 years ago this year, all of this year, it was 70 years ago.
Yeah.
So what sort of art did these guys make?
Well,
guys and girls.
Perhaps the kind of art that I'd want to copy. Kurt Schwitters made kind of assemblage art, and Arshile Gorky was an abstract painter. Also did nice portraits in his early career. But the thing is, now their works in certain domains has passed into the public domain, which means...
Oh, which means you can freely use them and share them.
Yes.
It means you can reproduce their work, or you can use it for whatever reason you see fit.
Yes.
If in any way that makes your heart dance, you can do it.
Yeah, and another exciting thing is if Gandhi's done any drawings, you can use that as well.
Oh, so Gandhi died in 48.
Yeah. So if he's got a little bit of art, we could probably put a Gandhi sketch on the site and wouldn't have to pay anyone.
We'll test that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if we get any copyright notices.
Now, I have to say, it does depend what country you live in, because they all have different dates. So in the UK, you have to wait at least 70 years after an artist has died before you could even consider using their work without anyone's permission on, say, selling T-shirts or mugs. But there is an issue. If you live in somewhere like Jamaica, don't, because you have to wait 95 years.
So what about the guys in Jamaica? They can't stop people in the UK after 70 years sharing their stuff,
No. Now, at this point, I have to say, I am not a lawyer. Did you know that, Tom? I'm not a lawyer.
Well, it's the first time I've ever thought about it, but I suppose you're not.
And anything we talk about today on this podcast is purely, our interpretation, and it is no substitute for real legal advice. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, other legal opinions are available, is what you mean, isn't it?
Oh, yes, they are, yes, and go and get them, because we're not lawyers.
And there must be special art lawyers, mustn't there?
Yeah.
Specialised in laws around art copyright.
Yeah. What's copyright? If I was to draw a picture of, say, Bart Simpson and hand it to you, say, here, I have my picture of Bart Simpson, I'd be in breach of copyright for that.
Well, it's all about them. It's where the world of art meets finance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Business. Copyright is like the point where they meet, isn't it?
Well, yes. There are some situations that allow a limited use of copyright work without prior permission first, and that's called fair use. Now, what fair use is, it's a doctrine that allows a limited use of copyrighted material without having to acquire permission from the owner of the copyright. And that was from Wikipedia. So, fair use could be for the purposes of commentary. So, if you're like a journalist, you could take a little quote and a little snippet. And
we're journalists. We're journalists. We can do that.
Yeah. So, you could do a critique on it. Or
they are absolutely shit, those Banksys, aren't they?
Or parody.
We've already done a Banksy parody.
Oh, yeah.
Copyright-related objects number 1. What is this?
Okay, Tom, what is this?
So it's copyright related. Is it the sound of police handcuffs as an artist gets taken to the cell?
No, could be. It's not that.
I don't know. What is it?
Camera. Okay.
Camera? What part of a camera was that?
I don't know. It said camera on the thing that I downloaded.
Oh, that's not a camera. I don't think
that
that's
is a camera. It said Canon. That means it's a camera.
Oh, it's a Canon. Oh, okay.
Okay, just before we get to the first image, all the images we're going to talk about today are on the website. So if you head over there to modernartisrubbish.com, you can see what we're talking about. So the first picture is an example of what is called parody. Now, everyone probably knows of the film Jaws. Its poster featured an image of a swimmer and a shark sort of like coming from under the sea, baring its teeth to come and attack the swimmer. What you can see here is this is a beautiful example of a parody because someone has taken the poster and they've reconstructed it for a new kind of film, which is about a terrible kitten that comes from the deep, and it's called Paws. And you can see the same swimmer as in the Jaws poster, and rising up from the deep to attack is a fluffy white kitten. And that is a beautiful example of parody.
Yeah, so yeah, the colour's the same on the poster. It's exactly the same as the film poster.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, a parody is a work that sort of imitates another work for humorous or satirical effect.
So was there actually a Paws film or anything?
No, but I'd like to think there was.
Yeah.
Sound of copyright. Sound number 2. What is it?
Okay, I'll give you a clue. It's something that a lot of hyper-realists might have used in the 60s to make their paintings, which are pretty good copies.
I thought it was going to be a photocopier, but it's not a photocopier, it's a projector.
Yeah, slide projector. Now, a lot of artists have ended up in court over copyright issues. A guy called Art Rogers made a black and white photograph called Puppies. So it's a picture of a man and woman smiling, and they're clutching about 8 Rottweiler puppies. I think they're Rottweilers. They're quite happy with their puppies, aren't they? Would you be that happy?
Yeah, I reckon they look like Tibetan puppies.
Yeah, they do look quite chilled. Yeah. So the American artist Jeff Koons, he came across the work and he thought, oh, I quite like this. He found it on a postcard, and he was doing a show based on the banality of life, and he wanted to make a sculpture for it. So what Koons did was he blew up a picture of the postcard, and this is the bit that's a bit dodgy. He removed the copyright symbol off the postcard before giving it to his assistants, and he instructed them to make a sculpture based on the photograph. So his assistants made a wooden sculpture of this photograph, but the difference between the sculpture and the black and white photograph was the dogs they looked to all be blue, and they've got kind of white dots for noses, and they've got flowers in their hair.
Hang on, when you say flowers, the dogs aren't.
Oh no, the dogs aren't flowers.
Hair,
No. The dogs aren't hippie love flowers. No, the the man and the woman sitting down the sculpture have flowers.
Yeah, so what happened to him after he made this in terms of copyright? So he got sued, I presume.
Yeah,
or something.
he did get sued, and in court, Kuhn's lawyer argued that the work was about the sort of mass production of commodities and media images. You know, all the rubbish things we see around us. You know, it's sort of contributed to the deterioration of society, and his work was kind of like a parody of society in general.
So was he successful with that?
Well,
defense?
no, the problem is, if you're going to do a parody of something, you actually have to be parodying the specific work
rather than the whole of society.
Because you can imagine if I just did a work, I don't know, I was a societal parody artist, I could just copy anything. But a judge said it's not really fair to do that. But he basically said, you know, you can't use that as a defence. And the other thing as well is that when these cases come to court, they also have to look at the market. Oh, let's pause. There's Kenzie, just for Kenzie.
Oh, look, she's walking on the keyboard.
Oh, I can hear that's the machine gun. So Kenzie, pause. So the other thing as well is when someone goes to court, the judge looks and says, you know, does it affect the market? And if the other guy, Rogers, had wanted to make sculptures of his picture, it would have been affected by the fact that Kuhn's had made sculptures.
Yeah.
Already made sculptures. And the problem was that Kuhn's apparently sold editions to the value of $375,000.
So did he have to pass the money on to the photographer?
No. As is quite common in a lot of these cases, it seems to be, they came to a private, confidential settlement, and there's no details that even hint as to what it was. Seems to be pretty common with these kind of cases.
All right, yeah.
They don't say what goes on. Maybe they did a deal with puppies, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's amazing, really. It's different in music, isn't it, with the Rolling Stones getting the Verve all the money from Bittersweet Symphony because of a string sample by George Martin.
Yeah.
Sound number 3. What is this?
What was that?
Well, that is definitely, I don't know what it's got to do with copyright, but that was definitely a coffee machine pouring a latte.
No, it wasn't.
You know?
No.
Oh, right. A photocopier.
Yeah, photocopier. Right. Okay. On to the next one. Very, very famous work, which is and it's a case, it's the Associated Press versus Shepard Fairey.
Hang on. Toby's just come in and opened the door. Sorry, Marcus.
That's fair use of the door, though, isn't it?
Fair use, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, man. It doesn't stop me suing him.
So, the street artist Shepard Fairey created the Hope poster during a campaign for President Obama's run to get elected in 2008, and the design became a world-famous image. What it is a stenciled image of Obama with the words Hope printed below. In 2009, the Associated Press made a demand for compensation, apparently as it was allegedly based on a photo by Manny Garcia.
So what, the way they've stenciled it, the style, are they talking about the styles based on another work?
Well, basically, a photograph is also, as well as a painting and anything, a photograph can be copyright. And in this case, Associated Press, who owned the rights to the photo, was alleging that Shepard Fairey had just taken the photograph and just basically copied it.
So, but the lawyer who did the Jeff Koons case could just say, well, it's transformative, it's different. Because he's stuck Hope on it, he's changed all the colours. He's turned his picture of Obama into something else.
Well, yeah, they can argue that, but you never know when it goes to court.
So what happened in this case?
Well, what happened was, before it actually went to court, Shepard Fairey filed a lawsuit arguing...
A lawsuit?
A lawsuit, yeah. It was allegedly... So Shepard Fairey filed a lawsuit against Associated Press, stating that his image was fair use. And also his argument was he didn't make any money from it, because what he was doing was every time he sold one or made any money, he used it to produce more posters for the Obama campaign. Now, he wasn't actually part of the Obama campaign, I have to...
So he was like a rogue campaigner.
Yeah, rogue campaigner, yes. That can sometimes be a defence of fair use. If you're not making a profit, the judge will look on that more sympathetically when deciding a case. So, as happens with a lot of other things, in 2011, they settled out of court. It looked like it wasn't going to go Shepard Fairey's way, because the other thing as well is he didn't even ask for their permission. What they now do is him and Associated Press, they agreed to share the rights now, and they make posters and merchandise bearing the Hope image. Again, we don't know how much it was for or what the deal was.
What sound is this? Tom, over to you. Number 4. That is a police warrant being signed, isn't it?
No, it could be. It could be. It's not.
Oh, a non-disclosure agreement.
Yes, it was. It was the sound of a non-disclosure agreement. Right.
Excellent! 1 point to you, Tom.
On to our last artist, Richard Prince. Now, he's an American artist, and one of the art forms that he did was called appropriation art, which basically he takes other works and he recontextualises them. Sometimes he'll just literally re-photograph something. So he'll take a photograph of a photograph, blow it up, or make changes to it, and then stick it on a wall as his own work in a gallery.
All right, so that's quite fashionable, because you see that quite a lot, that sort of thing. Like, is that like things like having the Queen with a gas mask on?
No. For instance, one of his last works was he took photos of people's Instagram posts, and then he just blew them up to a larger scale and then put them in an art gallery.
Brilliant.
You can imagine there are some lawsuits that do ensue, because he does sell his work for quite a lot of money. He came to prominence as what is known as an appropriation artist. Duchamp appropriated a toilet and called it art. So he basically went to his local toilet manufacturers and stuck it in an art museum, as you know. And also one I put on the Facebook page, I don't know if you saw that, but Dali took a lobster and a telephone and called it Lobster Telephone. Stuck them together. Artists are always boring. There's been a tradition of people taking this and that idea.
Yeah, or you borrow a sunset from the evening sky that you're sitting in.
Yeah. So in the early 1980s, Richard Prince became interested in the cowboys used on the Marlboro adverts. When he was younger, he used to cut out a lot of old magazines and sort of play around with them. And he decided that he would claim those images for himself, because you can imagine you've got these pictures of cowboys on these cigarette adverts, so you've got this great American kind of myth of the cowboy used to sell cigarettes. And so what he did was he re-photographed, so he pointed his camera at this picture, cropped the image, decided he liked the picture of just the cowboy, which was in the one that we've got on our website. It's a cowboy just running across what I suppose is just like a desert or something, and there's fluffy clouds in the background. Put up the image in an art gallery and as his own original work. Now, the reason he did that was because he was trying, in part, I think, to make us relook at how we're fed all these images throughout our lives, advertising. Some of his work sort of takes those images and puts them in fine art galleries and makes us look at them in a different way.
Do you think he intentionally chose Marlborough because it was a well-known image?
I think he probably quite liked the cool kind of cowboys. It's also about American culture and what is America as well, you know, and this kind of myth of the cowboy.
Oh right, yeah.
So you can understand that, but then when it sells for $1 million, that's a lot of money.
You could buy a lot of cigarettes with that.
Yeah. The original photographer who took the original photograph was paid a fee by Philip Morris, the tobacco company who owns Marlboro, and he couldn't sue because it wasn't his work. And I don't believe
what.
Philip
So
Morris
he was
either.
there dying to sue him. He was like, "Come on, I really want to sue," but he had no rights to do it and no means to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the funny thing was, one of the photographers actually walked into the exhibition and thought, oh, cool, you know, because it's his picture. Got out his camera to take a picture of the Richard Prince work, and a security guard walked up to him and said, I'm sorry, sir, there's no photographs allowed.
Of course he did, yeah. And I guess it wouldn't be representing America without a nice lawsuit in the middle of ownership of it.
Well, yeah, I sometimes wonder, as part of his art, he's questioning that kind of thing as well.
Well, the reappropriation, he does it on purpose to challenge it in little ways.
Yeah, well, I mean, it challenges questions of originality, authenticity, and authorship, you know. And there's a lot of artists that have done that, and I think we may well do an appropriation special. Just to cover, there's quite a lot of artists that do that as well. Yeah,
it'd be great to see, if anyone wants to do any appropriation at home, it'd be great to see the pictures. We could post them, couldn't we? We could see which ones we get legal suits threatened with.
No, well, what we will do is we'll be posting very grainy images, low resolution images, purely for review and parody.
So low res is okay, is it?
No, but it just covers yourself more. If you use a low resolution image for educational purposes or for critique, it gives you more of a fair use defence. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I have to keep saying this.
Yeah, but I mean, low res, high res, surely it doesn't matter the resolution.
Well, it does, because again, there's a commercial value. If you're using a low resolution, it can't be it can't be reproduced or used or sold on or anything, I suppose.
All right, yeah. Doesn't it weaken our arguments and discussions?
Yeah, if we're talking about it, yes, it does. So no, don't send any of your works in. So now you would think he gets sued quite a lot, and he does. In the year 2000, a photographer, Patrick Carew, released a book called Yes, Rasta, which was a book of photographs of Rastafarians who were living in Jamaica, rather. In 2008, Richard Prince had a new show called Canal Zone, which he released a series of works incorporating Carew's photographs. So what Richard Prince did was he transformed the works in various ways, like he would cut out, make copies of the photos, and make collages out of them. In some cases he would just draw on them, and some cases he might scratch on top of them, make duplicate images, make them smaller, make them bigger.
So before we were talking about the cowboy and being like American life and culture, we're talking about Jamaican now with the Rasta man.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so does he often deal with these kind of national sort of...
I think he does. I think he takes images that are quite...
things.
Yeah, he takes a lot of identity. He does play with identity. I mean, a lot of his work, again, is about, you know, taking images that we're fed on a daily basis and taking them out of context and making us reevaluate them. One of the works that Carew was suing for copyright infringement, I'm looking at it now, in the original photograph is a picture of a Rastafarian in long shorts with his shirt off, and he's in a sort of like a forest clearing, and he's got long dreadlocks. Now, in the Richard Prince version, he's taken the photograph and he's drawn sort of what looks like 3 blue circles or 3 blue ovals on the face of the Rastafarian, and he's added a guitar, and the guitar is sort of a blue guitar, and the hands are not black but of a white guitar players.
Yeah, so this image reminds me of Bob Marley because it's kind of got the Rastafarian, but then it's kind of the English rock and roll guitar on the front of him. So it's kind of like Bob Marley's first album or something, or second album, blending all them styles. He got criticised for it at the time, didn't he, for making like reggae rock and blending like the Jamaican sound with like Western music. I think he did have a bit of criticism in some places.
He's taken an image and he's completely, like you say, he's recontextualised it and made it a comment on maybe how how this Rastafarian culture is viewed in wider society.
Right, yeah.
And so in all, there was 30 of these images that Carew was suing Prince for initially in 2011 in court. The judge looks at them and decided that there wasn't enough of a difference, so found in Carew's favour. Now, of course, what happens in a lot of these cases is Richard Prince's team then appeals, as they do. And at the appeal court, of the 30 works, the judge considered 25 of them to be transformative, and 5 of them were still sort of up for question.
So he got away with it in a largest part.
Yes, he got away with it, and of course, as happens quite a lot, he arranged for an out-of-court settlement.
All right, so the original photographer did earn some money out of it, which was kind of nice in some ways. It was nice for him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is as well is that he wasn't going to make much more money out of them. The people that would buy these photographs, it was felt, were completely different to the people, the market that the Prince would have had.
Yeah.
So again, he got a little bit of cash out of it, isn't he?
So when the judge said change the meaning, what he actually meant was actually change the customer.
Yeah, I'm always a bit concerned about where judges have to decide on what is art and what isn't. So Tom, that's it for our artists and copyright podcast. Anything else to add?
I don't think I've got anything to add.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, just for people listening at home, if you can subscribe to us and give us a review on iTunes. Again, we've got a Facebook page. modernartisrubbish.com is our website, so you can go there. Also, we have a Patreon page if you want to donate to the show. That'd be fantastic. And it's just byes then, Tom, I think.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Excellent! 1 point to you, Tom!